for me, some of the most impactful parts of this short were the very quick shots of the dancers thriving on land, and then that fast cut to the dancers who are all still and kind of laying in the water. For me, that really highlighted urgency and created tension. And to see the dancers who are also human in that form just made me very aware of my own body and the precariousness of this situation. And I think at the end, the oscillation between the dancers' movements, which were almost sharp and fighting, juxtaposed with the standing collective, really moved me, as it felt like there was like some hope, and also like this was a last stand. It also felt like they were the collective of dancers had almost become that land, and I think that also emphasized the importance of people's relationships to the land themselves, and that we are the last hope for this situation, and we are the only ones who can do something about this.
I like how sense and appropriate serene and appropriate the music is. It's very calming and has a stillness element to it. This is significant because the choreography and the movement is very peaceful and calm, so the music enhances it and complements it well. The contemporary style and choreography is very well done and very well thought out. I like how they have choreographed this and chosen to film this in nature and more specifically near a body of water, because water is a very calming element, and this movement is calming as well. So I think it was all very well thought out.
It's beautiful, but it's also sad because it's about the rise of water levels on our land. Eventually, we'll all be completely submerged underwater if we don't change something. By watching Breaking the Surface, they want change to happen. We see the projection of various images behind the dancers, and at some point, this shows floods. It's sad and serious, and one hella compelling way to drag us into such a topic. I was very immersed into the choreography that I paid little mind to the music. I like when the camera splits into a multitude of screens because it keeps our eyes distracted and it looks very chaotic. Or when there's that double exposure effect that gives us the passing of time for the dancers, like they're in many places at once. There's a lot to see and many heartfelt performances. You can tell with the end credits how many people worked for this to happen, and the water being the main element, especially in the cages when we see the two dancers trapped but still performing, is the most enchanting part about this film. They don't seem to struggle dancing in the water, but instead use it as part of their performance with grace and elegance. But it still gives that feeling of impending doom and alertness.
Kind of a fish out of water kind of feeling that I get from within this piece. We are presented with a person right by the dock and by the water, only to be kind of tossed into this atmosphere with the projector of the same kind of symbolism of the sequence that had followed us before. We were already close to the water, so I'm intrigued as to why they wanted us to then have this projected sequence. It then folds into place even further as we go into this third act, so to speak, as they are immersed within the water and are submerged and we get to see them through the plexiglass as the projected of the outside sequence follows us yet again from the previous scene, showing us different depths and perspectives of water itself. The last act, the dance between two people within the water, is a very intimate experience, and I thought it was an interesting choice to have our lead actress be wearing all white.
They have this beautiful music that these dancers take with the best choreographies. It's very interesting the settings they are using in water and underwater, the sand. They use this also to kind of a bridge. I love the slow motion scenes and the close-ups. You also have some drone shots. I also enjoyed how they use this urban and nature elements to tell their story. It's very unassuming, and I think they really showcase the talents of these dancers and also somehow raising awareness about climate change and the devastating power of water.
First of all, the performances, the choreography of the dancers. I really like the main subject here, the main element is basically water. We see water is proposed in different ways, in different forms. I think it was there was deep connection between this story and water and nature as well. It's good to see the music blending with the natural elements and 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 the beauty which is our planet. Of course, everything thanks to the masterful performances of these dancers that really went along with the music and dance here connected on a higher level.
The score kept you intrigued on what was happening next. I love a lot of the cinematography and the way they edited this, especially when they began putting frame within frame of different of shots throughout the dance, like 3 different windows on it. I love that they had it like a traditional ending where they put the name next to the person who was dancing. This really was a thought-provoking dance about breaking the surface, especially when you see the cinematography talking about the projected sea levels on the side of the water. Just in the background, things like that, where they put in a little background information to really tell you what was going on just throughout the cinematography, but while keeping the main focus on the dancers. This is something that looks like it took a lot of work to do, especially when it comes to bodies of water. It takes a lot to do and get the shots just right, but it looks like it was done well and that they rehearsed the dancers quite often to get the image that they wanted and the great cinematography and all the parts that they needed to make this done by having very well rehearsed dancers.
I thought this was really, really fascinating. I really liked kind of their approach to this and how they kind of wove this together, where you have these individual moments that are really beautiful within their own right and really intense. And I can't imagine dancing in water is easy to do just because of the resistance, and you still have to make it look fluid and you still have to make it look graceful, but that's not the way that your body is really used to moving, especially when you're half out of the water and you're not fully submerged. I really, really thought that it was truly beautiful what the two of them were doing and how they were moving together, how they used the water as leverage and helped them. Um, I thought it was really, really something. And then to go from that to, again, like a little bit more steps back, a larger view of all of them in the water, I thought was beautiful.